We're live. Hi, everyone. Are you, like me, sensing that there are some key changes coming to humanity, coming to, our planet, towards the way that we're doing things, the way that we've been living, the structures as we know them? So I'm curious to know how many of you have been feeling how much change is upon us. And it can be something that is felt, something that is envisioned. I know for myself, I have envisioned this change in quite a while. And now in this time, I've been doubling on my meditation time and just downloading so much intuitive hits with regards to what these changes. Hey, Amy. Hey, how's it going? With regards to what these changes are about to bring in our life. And I think the changes are much more profound than how we're going to travel, how we're going to eat, move, relate to one another. And I'd like to know who of you know Bruce Lipton? Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief, is just a magnificent book. For some reason, I had the intuition of buying this book in like January, even before this COVID thing, was a thing for us in North America. And this guy is so brilliant. In fact, he made a prediction for what's happening now, something like 15 years ago. So he wrote this book in 2005, and then this is the 10th edition, where he's got added notes in 2015. And I thought this was so brilliant because our planet, the way that we're living our life and, taking on the resources of our planet, it's been known for a long time that this is not a sustainable way of living. And so Bruce Lipton is a cell biologist. And I mean, it's just fascinating what he's been writing about. And if we go back to the evolution of the cell, the single cell organisms. So if you think in the times when bacteria, viruses or yeast were cells, and they were starting to thrive and to grow into an environment that had a lot of food, and then everybody was like thriving until they kind of bumped against each other. And that's when they started to fight for space and nutrients, and they started to feel scared, like, is there going to be enough for me? Does that sound familiar? Right? So the single cell organisms were called to climb up one rung of the ladder of evolution. And so what they did is, this is brilliant, guys. I just, I wish I could make a summary of the whole book in 1 minute, but I'm just getting you like the juiciest part, which is pretty awesome. So in summary, the cells had to reorganize themselves. In order to survive, they had to come together and become a multicellular organism. And they had to cooperate with each other in order to survive. And guess what that multicellular organism ended up being? The human being, right? So this was a huge step up in the ladder of evolution in order for cell and life to continue in the on the planet, because they were getting too many of them, and then they weren't able to feed and have enough for each cell. Well, this is so brilliant because, the stresses that we've been putting on our planet with the amount of population that we have, not just the amount of population, but the way that we've been using resources, water, food, trees, land, cutting off rainforest. I mean, I'm not pleading for the going back to living in the jungle thing, but it's just the planet needed to take a breath, and it needed us to reconsider how we are living our life. So this is so brilliant. This is what Bruce Lipton wrote in 2005, right? So similar to the stress that single cell organism had to go through when they were out of space and out of resources, now we are being called to come together in a global community. In a global community where the members of that enlightened community will recognize that, one, we are made in the image of the environment, right? Like we're made of carbon and whatever is in the environment, but also that we have to operate not in a survival of the fittest manner, but in a way that supports everyone. Hey, Melissa. Oh, so good for you to be here. Thanks for being here. So it's like evolving from this mindset of survival of the fittest. Will there be enough for me? To evolving to a way that supports everyone and everything on this planet. So having the global well-being in mind. And I think this is so brilliant that the next section in this chapter goes from survival of the fittest to survival of the most loving. How amazing is that? Right? How amazing that in a time like this, where yes, fear and uncertainty and anxiety and will there be enough for me? You know, all of these emotions are raging within each one of us. But what if we could elevate beyond the fear-based energies and trust in something that is greater than us? For some people, it's God. For some people, it's the universe. I call it the committee above. What if we were to trust in that greater force? In what's happening right now is calling us to climb up one rung of the ladder of evolution. And it's calling us to become one global community. And it was pretty smart to bring us something that would affect the whole planet and that would scare the crap out of us, right? Like virus and this, you know, new organism that was never encountered by humans, because this virus jumped from bats to humans. And so we have no defenses against, you know, no human on the planet has or we don't know, but it's you know, this novel organism has not been encountered by human beings. So we have to incorporate. Hey, Cecily, oh, thanks for being here, right? So if we take lessons from evolution, and we know that in order to survive, evolution required cooperation, how can we today, as a global community, unite in ways that support everyone and everything on the planet? What can you do on a daily basis to have that global vision in mind, right? And sometimes, you know, we don't think that our individual actions or behaviors are really impacting the world until we see how a pandemic and how one infected person could have a chain of events and you know, infect so many people. So what if, you know, what you've been doing, taking care of the fundamentals, you know, eating well, exercising, sleeping better, communicating in elevated ways with your, you know, with your loved ones, especially if you're stuck with them in the same house, but also cultivating a positive mindset. And I would say that right now, what is most important is that each one of us rises our vibration, rises our level of consciousness. And some ways of doing that is meditation. Hey, Caho. Hey, Sarina. Meditation, you know, calming the mental frazzle. However you want to meditate, you know, for some people it's just total darkness, total silence. For some people it's guided meditation. For some people it's active meditation, you know, like walking. You can be walking with all of your senses and just notice the things that you normally don't notice. And that can be just an active meditation, just the act of being super present when somebody talks to you. And tuning into the messages from your own soul. I mean, I can't emphasize enough how important this has been for me in the midst of this, you know, crisis, circumstance. Dayan, hi, it's good to see you. Yes, so I love that question, says Lee. How will we transform into a new way of being? Well, you and I, everybody here, we have the power of envisioning that. And, quantum physics have shown us that. But let's remember that in order to evolve and survive, cooperation is necessary, not competition, not hoarding for toilet paper and the neighbor doesn't have any more, right? Let's have faith and trust that this is not the first rodeo of that which is greater than us, right? The universe or God. It's not their first rodeo. And we know that there's been periods of intense chaos in human history, in the planet's history. But that after that chaos came better order, more elevated, advancing consciousness, right? So this time we are being called to a new way of being. And I love what Bruce Lipton said in terms, he just said so many things, but in terms of going from survival of the fittest to survival of the most loving. So how can you bring even more love into your daily life, into your relationships? Even, like for me, love goes into like a cascade of, let's say there's food on my plate, and then I'll look at my food, let's say it's a vegetable, and I feel the love and the gratefulness for the person who put the seed in the soil, and the person who grew this vegetable and, nurtured the soil and watered the plant, the person who harvested the plant, the person who packaged the plant, the vegetable, the person who transported it, the person who sold it so that now it can be in my plate of food and nourish my body. So when I tap into this and I feel the deepest love for each segment of that chain, my heart is so full. It's so full of gratitude. It's so full of love. And this is one way of going, from survival of the fittest, like how can I, me, and competition, we know that doesn't work, to survival of the most loving. So elevating each one of us, rising our vibration, meditate, breathe, deep breathing exercises, really important these days. So let me know in the comments below, does that make sense? How do you, thanks Carol, how do you intend on creating the best version of yourself, and what are you envisioning for this world? I'm envisioning a world of cooperation, a world where not cooperation, we cooperate together, and a world where we liberate fear-based energies. We liberate fear-based emotions that are not only making our bodies and our minds sick, but that are making our planet sick. So liberation from that. Yeah, survival of the most gratitude. I love that. So let me know in the comments, what are you doing to create a more loving world, both in your life and with the vision of the global community. So I want to thank you for being here with me. I want to thank you. I've been speaking with a lot of my fellow coaches, the tribes that I so love, that I've been, transforming lives with and transforming my life with them. And it's funny that everybody's converging towards the same thing. Like, politics and religion stuff doesn't really matter. Like right now, it's each one of us healing whatever crap is inside of us, emotions, past wounds, hurt, broken relationships, broken heart, anger, shame, guilt, all of that stuff, so we can raise our vibration, be in the loving, in the joy, in the gratitude, and create that new world, which has already started. So it's up to us to catch the train or not. So let me know in the comment, what are you doing on a daily basis and what inspires you in this current circumstance? All right, thanks for watching. I love you all, and hang in there, and we will together raise stronger out of this. All right, much love. Bye for now.